When I started this project, I wanted to show a fair account of both sides of the story. However, as I learnt and saw more about puppy farming, I became very biased and quickly became quite passionate about putting an end to this cruel trade. As defined by the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, a companion animal is a domesticated or domestic bred animal whose physical, emotional, behavioural and social needs can be readily met as companions in the home or in close daily relationships with humans. It is also defined as a pet that is kept by humans for company, amusement, psychological support and for health benefits. They are companions who will not take emotional or psychological advantage of the person and will, for the most part, stay faithful. A production animal is an animal kept for profit, usually for commodities such as food, fibre and labour. Of great importance is the making of the financial arrangements necessary to the successful carrying out of each enterprise in the light of the market conditions for the sale of the end products. Lately these two terms have been clashing and there is a lot of debate about whether it is right to have one of the most beloved family pets, the dog, as a production animal purely for profit. Where do we draw the line? Farming is a cruel way to breed and sell dogs purely for profit with no regard for the animal's well-being. The dogs used for breeding live in cells and cages surrounded by electric fencing in their own filth and feces. Like production animals such as pigs and chickens, the dogs are kept in large tin sheds in rows and rows of either concrete stalls or razor wire floor cages. The dogs get no veterinary attention and have usually inadequate water and food. Their coats are often matted with feces and stained with urine, and infections and disease are extremely common.
One of the most common things we see is ear mites, flea allergies. Because dogs are living in close confinement, the chances of cross-contamination, this burden of parasites goes right through the shed. So if one gets it, they all get it. So ear mites and rotten teeth due to inadequate diet, the flea allergies, and that can be quite bad because when a dog scratches continually its skin, it can actually break the skin and then the wounds get infected. And if they've got matted fur underneath, you can't really see the skin. So it can be quite debilitating. Prolapsed uteruses are quite common from repeated litters, and mammary tumours, and that's just from repeated pregnancies as well.
Often the females get a prolapsed uterus from so many litters. This means that the uterus falls out of her body. How many litters can a breeding dog have before it becomes healthy for her?
I think there is this misconception out there that dogs need to have a litter of puppies to be normal or to be healthy, whereas that's actually quite wrong. In fact, through a dog giving birth to a litter of puppies, it actually increases the risk of them developing breast cancer by up to 40 times. So you could say that no litter of puppies is probably the healthiest way to go, and all dogs should be their sex. But the problem with a lot of these factory farms is that they're being asked to produce up to 2 litters a year. And really, that's very tough for a dog to do.
What effect does it have on the puppies to have parents in those conditions?
Yeah. A lot of puppies learn a huge amount from their parents in the same way that human children do just that. So a puppy has a socialisation period, which is up until they're 12 weeks of age, where they learn about how to behave around other people, around other animals, and if they're not around their parents in a normal situation, then those puppies aren't going to grow up to be normal, relaxed, happy dogs. So sure, you can try to alter that later on in life, but it does take a lot of work, and sometimes you can never get them to be totally relaxed in new situations. So it does have a huge effect.
Of all the problems caused by puppy farms, psychological damage is by far the worst.
If we rescue a dog with mammary tumours, we can have those tumours removed, we can treat the flea allergy, we can flush out the ears, but sometimes we can't repair the mental trauma or the psychological damage that's happened to these dogs.
After spending their lives in confinement, the dogs cannot handle life outside of the puppy farm. Researchers found dogs from mills had higher levels of phobia, compulsive behaviours and heightened sensitivity.
Just simple things like being in a house and hearing a door open or a toilet flush or a phone ring can absolutely send these dogs, they run to the corner, they'll defecate, urinate, they just shake uncontrollably because it's something so foreign to them.
Oscar's Law is a campaign against companion animals being puppy farmed and the sale of dogs in pet shops. For almost 20 years, the founder of Oscar's Law, Deborah Tranter, has been fighting to stop this cruel trade. Early last year, Deborah rescued Oscar, a breeding dog, from a puppy farm and immediately took him to see a vet. When they found Oscar, his fur was so matted it was like a concrete block and you had to have a general anaesthetic just so he could be shaved. His teeth were so infected he couldn't eat. That night, Deborah Tranter's house was raided by police and Oscar, who was recovering from surgery, was taken away. Deborah Tranter was charged with theft and Oscar was returned to the puppy farm. Deborah Tranter came up with the idea of the campaign and since then has been fighting to expose puppy farms. After 18 months, Deborah Tranter returned to the puppy farm in disguise and brought Oscar's freedom. What is one message that you would like to get out there?
I think the most important message that I want the public to know is that there's a whole hidden industry behind the cute fluffy puppies in the pet shop window and the glossy websites, and it's been hidden for too long. And it's a brutal industry where we're factory farming our pets, and I would like the public to know that because I believe they have the power to stop this industry by the choices they make as consumers.
Yeah. Over 250,000 dogs are put to sleep in Australia every year. However, the UK, which has 3 times our population, has only 1/10 of this. Given these statistics, the claims from industry sources that closing puppy farms will cause an undersupply of dogs lacks credibility. Usually after they reach the age of 4, or if they cannot breed anymore, the females are no longer needed, so they are killed. I have, however, found some previous interviews of a few people in the industry.
Do you mind the expression puppy farm?
No, I don't. I'll say it myself. I am a puppy farmer, or have been. So what?
But dogs are a domestic animal.
So, people are domestic, but they're in jail.
And these
They're
dogs?
locked up. People are locked up, they're in jail. Okay, they might have done something wrong.
But what do these dogs do wrong?
They didn't do anything wrong, but that's the environment they were brought up in, and that's what they're used to, this environment.
But you're likening this to a dog jail.
Well, if you want to put it that way.
Why does it make people so angry?
Well, that's it. I just don't know. That's why I think they're all Fruit Loops.
In conclusion, whether this cruel trade should ever be inflicted on any animal is a completely separate issue. However, it certainly should never be inflicted on our most beloved companions, especially man's best friend. It is inhumane and needs to be put an end to.
Yeah, for me, the whole issue with dog breeding and with puppy farms is that I think people out there want to make the right move. They want to actually buy a puppy from a good breeder, from somewhere that's not a puppy farm, but there's not the information out there to know exactly where a puppy that you come across has come, actually where it's been bred. I always find it amazing that you can walk into a supermarket and see a carton of eggs, and these are eggs that you eat. Yet you'll know whether that egg came from a free-range farm or from a cage farm. There's a full process of authentication around where that egg came from. Yet with puppies that are living, breathing creatures that we're meant to love, there's nothing like that. You don't have a clue where that puppy came from. So the idea that I would like is to have, say, the RSPCA tick of approval, where the RSPCA goes out, they look over these puppies, look over where these puppies are being bred and go, you know what, that is a respectable breeder, we think they're good enough, and they get the tick, or they go out somewhere and they don't get the tick. And if you buy a puppy and they don't have the tick, then you can assume that it's from a puppy farm. But if they have the tick, you can rest easy, you can go, yep, that's a good puppy.